In a week marked by significant political maneuvering in Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis has intensified his focus on immigration issues while the state prepares for a potential reshaping of its political landscape with the anticipated appointment of Senator Marco Rubio as Secretary of State. As these developments unfold, questions surrounding the implications of DeSantis' proposals and the future of the state's representation in Washington loom large. DeSantis has called for a special legislative session set to commence on January 27, aiming to address a series of pressing issues, most notably immigration reform. His proposal aligns with President-elect Donald Trump's hardline stance on undocumented immigration, which includes making it a state crime to enter the U.S. illegally. Moreover, DeSantis is pushing to empower local law enforcement to assist in federal immigration enforcement efforts. This approach has drawn both support and criticism, with some citing the potential for increased racial profiling and community tensions. Wayne Ivey, sheriff of Brevard County, was among those advocating for DeSantis's plan, emphasizing the need for comprehensive measures to tackle what he describes as a crisis. Meanwhile, the expected appointment of Rubio as Secretary of State would elevate Florida's role in shaping U.S. foreign policy, particularly under a Trump administration. Drawing bipartisan support during Senate committee hearings, Rubio is positioned to influence key diplomatic initiatives, which could have lasting repercussions on international relations. Nahal Tussi, a senior foreign affairs correspondent for Politico, suggested that Rubio's confirmation would likely drive a more assertive foreign policy agenda reflecting Trump's priorities. As the political scene shifts, the potential vacancy left by Rubio in the Senate has sparked speculation regarding his successor. Reports indicate that Lara Trump, daughter-in-law of the former president, is the frontrunner to fill the position. Her candidacy has garnered attention not only for her familial ties, but also for her emerging role in the Republican Party. With DeSantis reportedly supporting her candidacy, the nomination of Lara Trump could signal a further consolidation of Trump's influence in Florida politics. In addition to these developments, the political landscape is being scrutinized against the backdrop of President Biden's administration. PolitiFact has taken a retrospective look at Biden's promises during his term as his presidency nears its conclusion. This reflection is particularly timely given the shifting narratives surrounding immigration and foreign policy that are likely to dominate the discourse in the upcoming months. While the political narrative unfolds, other pressing issues are making headlines in Florida. Citizens Property Insurance Corporation has proposed a significant rate increase of 13.5% for homeowners insurance, an issue that could exacerbate the economic pressures many Floridians are already facing. Furthermore, environmental challenges persist as human-induced climate change continues to intensify rainfall, leading to increased flooding incidents across the state. In a separate incident highlighting the tense climate surrounding immigration and political dissent, a Miami attorney reported receiving threats believed to be linked to his requests for Senator Rubio to investigate the entry of a Venezuelan soccer player with ties to the Maduro government. This alarming development underscores the complex interplay of local politics, international relations, and personal safety, reflecting the heightened stakes in Florida's political environment. As Florida navigates these multifaceted challenges, the outcomes of DeSantis's immigration proposals, Rubio's anticipated confirmation, and potential shifts in Senate representation will undoubtedly shape the state's political landscape in the months to come. The interplay of these developments illustrates a moment of transformation, one that could redefine not only Florida's role in national politics but also the broader narrative of U.S. immigration and foreign policy as the country approaches the next electoral cycle. In Washington, the atmosphere is charged as the confirmation hearing for Pete Hegseth, President-elect Donald Trump's nominee for Secretary of Defense, unfolds. Hegseth's candidacy has sparked intense scrutiny, particularly from women combat veterans who have expressed their outrage over his past statements regarding women in combat roles. As discussions regarding his nomination heat up, the implications for military policy and gender equality in the armed forces are coming to the forefront. Hegseth, a veteran and former Fox News personality, faced tough questions from senators at the Senate Armed Services Committee hearing, where his earlier comments suggesting that women should not serve in combat roles were a focal point. In a November podcast, he stated unequivocally, "We should not have women in combat roles," claiming it complicates combat effectiveness. This assertion has ignited a firestorm of criticism, particularly from Democratic senators and female veterans who argue that such views undermine the contributions and sacrifices of women in the military. Senator Tammy Duckworth, a combat veteran herself, vehemently opposed Hegseth's nomination, declaring, "Our military can no longer do its job if it restricts women from combat." Duckworth emphasized that an effective military relies on the inclusion and capabilities of all service members, regardless of gender. Her remarks highlight a growing concern that Hegseth's confirmation could roll back progress on gender equality in the armed forces. As the hearing progressed, Hegseth attempted to distance himself from his previous remarks, asserting that he supports women serving in the military and recognizes their contributions. "We support all women serving in our military today, who do a fantastic job across the globe," he stated, but his quick pivot raised skepticism among critics. Senator Elizabeth Warren pointedly remarked on his "very big about face," expressing concern over whether Hegseth would revert to his original beliefs once in office. The potential confirmation of Hegseth has reignited discussions about women's roles in the military, with many veterans feeling that their years of service and the strides made towards inclusion are being undermined. Charlie Folletta, one of the first women to graduate from a gender-integrated armor officer course, expressed her dismay, stating, "It really is so heartbreaking to witness someone who may lead the military dismiss the value of women's service." Hegseth's nomination may hinge on the support of key Republican women senators, including Joni Ernst, Susan Collins, and Lisa Murkowski. Ernst, a veteran herself, has publicly backed Hegseth, which may bolster his chances for confirmation. However, many military experts warn that the implication of a ban on women in combat would not only demoralize female service members, but also signal a regression in military policy that has evolved over the past decade. Lori Fenner, a veteran and historian, articulated this concern, emphasizing that women have long been a vital part of military operations, often serving on the front lines, despite historical barriers. The debate surrounding Hegseth's nomination encapsulates broader issues of gender equality, military effectiveness, and the cultural shifts within the armed forces. As the confirmation process unfolds, the reactions from both the political sphere and military community will be closely watched, with implications that may resonate far beyond the Senate floor. The outcome of Hegseth's nomination will likely set the tone for future discussions on the role of women in the military, as well as the ongoing struggle against ingrained biases that persist in the defense establishment. In conclusion, the path ahead for Pete Hegseth is fraught with challenges, as his views on women in combat come under intense scrutiny. As veterans and advocates continue to voice their concerns, the outcome of this confirmation hearing could either reaffirm or fracture the progress made in integrating women into all facets of military service. The implications of this decision will resonate through the ranks and could redefine the landscape of military policy for years to come. As political tensions rise in Washington, the nomination of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as Secretary of Health and Human Services has ignited intense debates, particularly among the nation's polio survivors. With an estimated 300,000 individuals living with the legacy of polio in the United States, many are recalling their own harrowing experiences as they watch the Senate prepare to consider Kennedy's confirmation. Kennedy, a well-known environmental attorney and vaccine skeptic, has become a polarizing figure, especially given his recent comments that challenge the historical effectiveness of the polio vaccine. During courtesy visits on Capitol Hill, He asserted his support for the vaccine but has also labeled the narrative surrounding its role in eradicating polio as mythology. Such statements have not only alarmed health advocates, but have also drawn sharp rebukes from those who have lived through the consequences of the disease. The echoes of polio are still vivid for many survivors. Some remember crowded hospital wards where gurneys were piled high, while others, like actress Mia Farrow, share haunting memories of being confined to iron lungs. The historical context of polio, a disease that once paralyzed thousands annually, adds weight to their concerns. Representative Steve Cohen, the only other polio survivor in Congress, has called for the Senate to reject Kennedy's nomination, voicing a duty to advocate for those who suffered from the disease. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, himself a polio survivor, is under scrutiny as he navigates this contentious nomination process. McConnell's experience with polio, which he contracted as a child, has profoundly shaped his life and career. While he has indicated a desire for candidates to avoid undermining public trust in vaccines, he has not explicitly stated his position on Kennedy's nomination. For many polio survivors, McConnell's response is crucial. They feel a sense of betrayal if he does not vocally oppose Kennedy. In a striking contrast, Kennedy's nomination has prompted some notable figures to speak out against him. Renowned filmmaker Francis Ford Coppola has shared his memories of the polio epidemic, emphasizing the horrors faced by those affected. These personal narratives are bolstered by the collective memory of a generation that witnessed the devastating impact of polio before the introduction of the vaccine. Kennedy's stance on vaccines extends beyond polio, as he has publicly questioned the safety of numerous vaccines, including those for COVID-19. His close advisor has actively sought to revoke approvals for various vaccines, raising alarms among public health officials and advocates. This backdrop of skepticism has led many, including McConnell's constituents, to demand a more decisive stance from the senator as the confirmation hearings approach. As the political landscape continues to shift, the upcoming Senate hearings will serve as a pivotal moment for both Kennedy and the polio survivor community. Advocates are hopeful that McConnell will champion their cause, recognizing that the stakes are not just about a single nomination, but about the broader implications for public health policy and the legacy of polio in America. The discussion surrounding Kennedy's nomination is emblematic of the tensions between personal health experiences and broader public health narratives. As the Senate prepares to deliberate on his confirmation, the voices of those affected by polio will undoubtedly resonate, reminding lawmakers of the importance of science-based health policies. As this story unfolds, it will be essential to monitor how these developments will shape the future of public health leadership in the United States, in a political landscape increasingly defined by loyalty and contention. Pam Bondi's nomination as the next U.S. Attorney General has ignited discussions about her independence and her relationship with former President Donald Trump. With her confirmation hearing recently under scrutiny, key moments illustrate the complexities surrounding Bondi, who has endured both public admiration and criticism throughout her career. Bondi's past is as colorful as it is contentious. A notable anecdote from her tenure as Florida's Attorney General revolves around a custody battle over a St. Bernard named Noah, which garnered local media attention during her election campaign. In a legal saga that spanned 16 months, Bondi adopted the dog after Hurricane Katrina, but ultimately lost him to his original family. This episode, while seemingly trivial, serves as a metaphor for the larger battle she now faces as she seeks to secure her position in the Biden administration. During her Senate confirmation hearing, Bondi encountered pointed questions, especially regarding her unwavering allegiance to Trump. Senator Dick Durbin, Democrat, Illinois, pressed her about the outcome of the 2020 election, inquiring if she could unequivocally state that Trump lost. In a move emblematic of her loyalty, Bondi sidestepped a direct admission, instead stating Biden is the President of the United States. He was duly sworn in, and he is the President of the United States. Her remarks also hinted at a belief that the electoral process was compromised. Despite the overwhelming evidence supporting Biden's victory, Bondi's responses drew criticism from some senators, including Durbin, who remarked on the evasiveness of her answers, suggesting they indicated unpreparedness to acknowledge Trump's electoral defeat. The implications of her testimony are significant as they reflect the ongoing divide within the Republican Party and the broader implications for the integrity of the electoral process. By maintaining a narrative that aligns with Trump's assertions, Bondi risks alienating moderate Republicans and potentially undermining her credibility as Attorney General. Further complicating her confirmation is the perception that while she may not be the most controversial nominee, her ties to Trump could influence her role in an independent Justice Department. Bondi expressed support for the idea of an independent agency, yet refrained from committing to resist any inappropriate directives from the president. Her assertion that she would refocus federal law enforcement on crime resonates with Republican sentiments, but raises questions about her ability to act impartially in a politically charged environment. As the hearing progressed, Bondi's responses remained consistent, reflecting a steadfast loyalty to Trump and an unwillingness to address the controversies surrounding the January 6 Capitol riots and their aftermath. This reluctance to confront key issues may shield her from immediate opposition within the Senate, but also raises concerns about her capacity to navigate the complexities of a post-Trump Justice Department. Looking ahead, Bondi's confirmation appears likely given the support from Senate Republicans. However, her tenure as Attorney General could be marked by challenges that stem from her prior commitments and the polarized political climate. As the nation grapples with ongoing debates about election integrity, civil liberties, and the rule of law, Bondi's ability to maintain a balance between her loyalty to Trump and her role as a top law enforcement official will be crucial. The coming months will undoubtedly reveal whether she can transition from being a Trump loyalist to an independent operator in a position that demands objectivity and integrity, in a decisive move that underscores his administration's economic direction. President-elect Donald Trump has appointed hedge fund magnate Scott Bessent as the next Secretary of the Treasury. This announcement, made via Trump's social media platform Truth Social, brings to a close a highly competitive selection process that saw numerous high-profile candidates vying for the influential role. Bessent, a seasoned investor with a storied career, is recognized for his expertise in international finance and his alignment with Trump's economic philosophies. I am most pleased to nominate Scott Bessent to serve as the 79th Secretary of the Treasury, Trump stated, praising Bessent's standing as one of the world's foremost international investors and geopolitical and economic strategists. The president-elect further emphasized Bessent's commitment to the America First agenda, which he believes is crucial for revitalizing the U.S. economy as it approaches its 250th anniversary. The selection process was marked by intense competition, with Bessent emerging from a pool that included notable figures like Kevin Warsh, a former Federal Reserve Board member, and Mark Rowan, the CEO of Apollo Global Management. As reported, the final decision came after a meeting at Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort, where Bessent reportedly received the thumbs up from the president-elect. Sources indicate that Bessent's deep understanding of macroeconomics and his loyalty to Trump were significant factors in his selection. Bessent's career trajectory is impressive. He previously served as the chief investment officer for George Soros and founded Key Square Group, a hedge fund with substantial assets. His endorsement of Trump's tariffs and critique of the Biden administration's fiscal policies have established him as a vocal advocate for the president-elect's economic strategy. He has articulated a vision that includes renewing the focus on U.S. competitiveness, maintaining the dollar's status as the world's reserve currency, and fostering an environment conducive to entrepreneurial growth. As he prepares for his confirmation hearing in the Senate, Bessent faces the challenge of addressing pressing economic issues, including a national debt exceeding $36 trillion and the expiration of key tax cuts from the 2017 tax reform. In a recent editorial, he called for the permanent enactment of these tax cuts and emphasized the need for fiscal discipline to reverse the reckless spending he attributes to the outgoing administration. During his recent Senate testimony, DeSantis assured lawmakers that he would address potential conflicts of interest by shuttering his firm upon confirmation. His responses to questions about key economic policies revealed a commitment to supporting Trump's proposals, including tax changes that would favor working Americans, while also pledging to uphold the independence of the Federal Reserve. DeSantis' appointment has been met with mixed reactions. Some view him as a stabilizing force who can navigate the complexities of U.S. fiscal policy, while others criticize his ties to Wall Street, fearing that it may lead to further economic inequities. Nonetheless, his nomination signifies a continuation of Trump's approach to economics, characterized by deregulation and a strong pro-business stance. As Trump prepares for his inauguration, the focus will now shift to DeSantis' confirmation process and the broader implications of his policies on the U.S. economy. With significant challenges ahead, including inflation and federal spending, DeSantis' ability to implement a cohesive economic strategy will be crucial in shaping the financial landscape of the coming years. The administration's success will depend not only on his expertise, but also on his capacity to unite various factions within the Republican Party and beyond as they work toward a shared vision of economic revitalization. In the evolving landscape of cryptocurrency and economic policy, few developments have stirred as much intrigue as the nomination of Howard Lutnick as the U.S. Secretary of Commerce. Lutnick, a billionaire and CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald, is known for his vocal support of Tether, a cryptocurrency that has gained notoriety for its widespread use in illicit financial activities. As Lutnick prepares to take the helm in a pivotal government role, questions about the implications of his support for Tether and its connections to criminal enterprises loom large. Tether, a stablecoin pegged to the US dollar, has emerged as a preferred digital currency for various nefarious actors. The U.S. Treasury Department has linked Tether to significant financial transactions involving Saad al-Jamal, a financier for Houthi fighters, among others. According to Chainargos, a cryptocurrency research firm, al-Jamal utilized Tether to send and receive over $300 million, despite being sanctioned in 2021 to prevent him from accessing the traditional financial system. This troubling association highlights a broader trend. Tether has become a tool for criminals. With its anonymity and lack of regulatory oversight, allowing entities like North Korea and drug traffickers to leverage it for their operations. Howard Lutnick's connection to Tether goes beyond mere endorsement. His firm Cantor Fitzgerald holds substantial assets in U.S. Treasury bonds that underwrite Tether tokens, which has positioned him as a central figure in the stablecoins ecosystem. Lutnick's endorsement of Tether as the digital dollar all over the world underscores his belief in its potential to reshape global finance. However, this perspective raises significant concerns about the risks of facilitating illicit activities and the regulatory challenges ahead. Lutnick's nomination comes at a time when the Biden administration is grappling with the implications of cryptocurrency on national security and economic stability. Deputy Treasury Secretary Wally Adeyemo has pointed out that cryptocurrencies are being used by countries like Russia to evade sanctions, further complicating the regulatory landscape. Lutnick's influence, coupled with his financial interests in Tether, could present conflicts of interest as the government seeks to navigate the complexities of digital currencies. In the broader context, Lutnick's nomination aligns with President-elect Donald Trump's America First economic agenda, which emphasizes deregulation and a pro-business environment. Trump has made it clear that he intends to position the U.S. as a global leader in cryptocurrency, stating his ambition to transform the country into the Bitcoin superpower of the world. This vision, coupled with Lutnick's role, suggests a significant shift in economic policy that may prioritize innovation over regulation. As Lutnick prepares to take office, The implications of his dual role as a government official and a significant player in the cryptocurrency market will be closely scrutinized. The potential for regulatory capture, where the interests of the regulated dominate the regulatory process, raises critical questions about the integrity of oversight in the burgeoning crypto sector. Looking ahead, the intersection of Lutnick's influence, Tether's controversial role in financial transactions, and the Trump administration's aggressive economic policies will likely shape the future of U.S. cryptocurrency regulation. As lawmakers and regulators grapple with these challenges, the need for a balanced approach that fosters innovation while safeguarding against abuse will be paramount. The coming months will reveal whether Lutnick can navigate these complexities while maintaining the integrity of the Commerce Department amid an ever-evolving financial landscape.